US Vice-President JD Vance headed for Greenland. The trip now scaled back from what had originally been intended after anger from the Danish government. Vice-President Vance expected to fly to the US military base at Pituffik, to the north of Greenland. He had intended for the trip to last 3 days, but that has been cut shorter after uproar from Greenlanders and Danes concerned that travel plans had been announced without previous consultation. Greenland is a semi-autonomous Danish territory, but President Donald Trump, from his first term in office, has taken the line that Washington should take control of the island. And that has sparked friction, with the Danish Prime Minister calling JD Vance's initial plans, quote, unacceptable. Our AP correspondent Philip Crowther joins us live from Nuuk in Greenland. Philip, that anger from Denmark and Greenland, not just because they did not know about JD Vance's travel plans, but also that they did not issue any invitation. In what capacity officially is JD Vance in Greenland?
Well, he's coming as the Vice President of the United States, but you're absolutely right to say that there is no formal invitation for him. There wasn't one for the Second Lady of the United States, Mr Vance, who was first going to come here by herself, and that is what angered officials here in Greenland and also in Denmark. As you're, of course, right to mention that this is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark. So the plan from the United States was changed quite radically. JD Vance, the Vice President of the United States, yes, he is here as the Vice President, but he's only going to visit a US military base in the far north of this Arctic island. That means that there didn't have to be a red carpet for him, even though he's coming with the National Security Advisor of the United States, for example. This is a high-ranking delegation, but they will not be in contact with the local population. That might be better for JD Vance, because the reaction to his visit here is not positive. It's not necessarily anger, but people here are saying that he can go to that military base if he wants to. He can have a look around as well. But Greenland is not for sale. That is what people say here again and again. They will not be seeing JD Vance here in Greenland today.
Philip, whatever the anger in Greenland as well as Denmark, that has in fact improved a little bit, at least on the Danish side, since JD Vance scaled back his original travel plan.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Basically, the Danish government has said, and the government here in Greenland would very much agree with that JD Vance is more than welcome to come to Greenland, but only if he goes to that military base. They see this recent change in schedule from the Trump administration as essentially a de-escalation of this situation, because if it had only been the Second Lady of the United States, if she had come here without an invitation, well, that's a diplomatic problem you have on your hands. There has to be an official invitation for an official visit. But there is a feeling of unease here, and of course in Copenhagen as well, as to what might happen to Greenland in the future. A coalition government has just been found here, and it will be announced here in Nuuk, in the capital, today. This is a coalition government that is for the independence of Greenland, for it to no longer have those ties to Denmark. That doesn't mean that the people here want to be connected or want to be owned by another country. They certainly don't want to become US citizens, despite those very clear calls from US President Donald Trump. And he says it again and again, that he wants to have Greenland. What exactly that means is not clear. Does he want to buy it? Does he possibly want to annex it somehow? But he has said he wants it in the United States' possession for national security interests, yes, but also for the access to minerals here in Greenland. There are many reasons why the United States is interested in Greenland, and indeed has been interested in Greenland in the past.
Mr. Trump's insistence might have seemed baffling and outrageous just a short while ago, rather less so now, because the unease you mentioned, that might be happening because people are thinking this might actually happen. He might actually take control of Greenland. What could happen in the next few weeks, the next few months, the next few years?
Well, I think the intentions of this new coalition government is to seek independence from Denmark, first of all. That is going to happen very slowly, though. Most people here agree that that is something they aim for, but they don't wanted to see it happen automatically or indeed immediately because they are economically dependent on Denmark. But again, they don't want another country to come in its stead and somehow take possession of Greenland. This has happened in the past. It is not that outlandish to think of the United States buying a territory. It has done so in the past. Alaska became American after all. The Louisiana Purchase gave the United States possession of states in the South. But for it to happen in this day and age would be a shock to the system, and certainly not something that can be done immediately. But if the US president, if Donald Trump says it again and again, that he somehow wants to get Greenland, somehow acquire it, well, then discussions might start somewhere. People here certainly would not mind having a closer economic relationship with the United States if it brings more money to this vast island, but they don't want to be possessed or annexed by the United States.
Oh, thanks for that. AP correspondent Philip Crowther live there from Nuuk in Greenland, where the US Vice-President JD Vance is due to arrive in the next few hours.